Okay, we're back to one of my favorite websites, the World Economic Forum. Greetings to everybody. Thank you for stopping by my channel. This is Nicole, and I wanted to talk about some of the system initiatives that are being pushed forth by several corporations around the world. It's not just the United States. The World Economic Forum is a way for these important discussions about innovation in various areas of life to be discussed. The discussions of, the ideas to be discussed. So I'm going to read through their system initiatives. The global, regional, and industry challenges facing the world are the result of many systems, quote unquote. From global systems that influence the environment and natural resource security to the economic systems that create inequality, to the regional systems that determine the fortunes of nations, to the industry systems that determine the effectiveness of supply and demand. To enable our constituents to make sustained positive change, we work with them to understand and influence the entirety of the system that affects the challenges and opportunities they are trying to address. We do this through a series of system initiatives described here. And one thing I would hope that Black people would do is not read something and automatically go into defense mode. Read things for gaining more knowledge, with the goal of gaining more knowledge. And go into asking questions. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? To gain knowledge and perhaps, in my opinion, to pursue capitalizing off of what they're doing. That could be capitalizing off of that by improving your skill set, gaining new skill sets, or capitalizing off of it in the general sense by getting more of that money. Okay, because in my opinion, money and obtaining resources is very important. Okay, you can't do much of anything in a capitalistic society without money. I'm not saying that money is everything, but if you see different corporations that are designed to regulate how our society is working, and you're constantly on the bottom and constantly struggling, just trying to think about different things and gaining more knowledge can perhaps help you gain more resources. For me, it's about passing resources I've acquired down to my children, once I have children. But it's also about having more, improving my network, increasing my network of different people who are in my field and outside my field, if I can. So I'm scrolling down little by little to show you the different areas that they are focused on with the World Economic Forum. And I'm going to go back up to the top in a minute to one area in particular, which is up here, shaping the future of advanced manufacturing and production. I think that's a very important area to discuss for today. I'm not going to go into all of them, of course, because discussing one can take up 20-30 minutes. I'm going to try to make this as short as I possibly can, so please bear with me. So one question they have is, how can the transformation of production systems from research and development to the consumer drive innovation, sustainability, and employment? And they come through answering that question. They talk about 3D printing, They also go into details about artificial intelligence, of course. I've heard Maximum Black talk about artificial intelligence, and I want to come back up here, to featured articles. I missed it on the right side. So they have here on the right side of the page, you can read more. They have featured articles. One is the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Beacons of Technology and Innovation in Manufacturing. They have one about shaping the sustainability of production systems. Fourth Industrial Revolution Technologies for Competitiveness and Sustainable Growth. And the last one is Leading Through the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Putting People at the Center. So I'm going to click on the first one where they talk about beacons of technology and innovation in manufacturing. They have a report. It was published January 10th, 2019. They call these 16 companies manufacturing lighthouses. They're sites of production where world leaders are in the successful adoption of and integration of cutting-edge technologies within the Fourth Industrial Revolution. You can click download PDF and it will download and open for you here. This is a white paper article. So let's scroll down some more. They give their contents, table of contents. What are they talking about? And what you can do is just copy and paste or search for some of these words, and it'll go to the page number corresponding to that word or phrase. But I'm going to come down. They give their forward, of course, as they always do in these articles. They also give their executive summary here. Let's see. Okay, so I like to look at things in a graphical or schematic representation. Their first figure is key technology megatrends transforming production. There are 3 different nodes that they focus on in this article. One is connectivity, where they create links between discrete network nodes, increasing visibility, meaning they want you to know what they are doing. And when they have conducted research in several institutions and they found that the research is sound, the data is sound, and they've concluded it properly, they want you to know what has been studied. They're not hiding anything. They want to be transparent because the focus of the World Economic Forum, as you saw earlier, is also about jobs and putting people at the center of a lot of these discussions and applications that they're trying to develop. The second point is flexible automation. They want to incorporate response mechanisms, automation, and remote movement. So this is the machine learning, artificial intelligence that's been immersed just completely. The trucking industry is immersed in it right now. Consumer vehicles and consumer transportation is being carried. I wouldn't say forced, but carried into this flexible automation node. The last one is intelligence. Automates event recognition and translation for decision making. Intelligence actually should have been the first one I discussed, but I'm going from the top and going counterclockwise. So the last one is intelligence, and that is pretty self-explanatory. Without intelligence, without human capital, you can't carry out any of these other things. The second figure, they talk about economic gains by AI adoption, front runners, followers, and laggards. The front runners are the ones who will get the most attention and take the most risk. Followers are those that catch up later and either partner with the front runners or develop their own strategy. Laggards are those who become consumers of or end users of these particular strategies. So on their y-axis, they have the relative changes that are occurring in cash flow by AI adoption cohort. They have that represented by percent change per cohort, and it was cumulative change over time. The x-axis on the bottom is showing you the years. They started from 2017 and they're projecting out to 2030. So we are just at the 25% mark. We're about 1/4 in to this graph. This graph is projected outward to 2030. And since the graph is projected outward, it should give you an indication of how other industries are projecting growth or loss. On the right top area, you have front runner breakdown, and the right bottom area, you have laggard breakdown of what they will gain and lose, and this is simulated across time. They give different areas of percentage breakdown by economy-wide output gain loss ratio to their peers. So that's exchanging between peers, gain and loss. What they'll lose as far as transitioning, and their capital expenditure, followed by the total gain or loss that they have. So from what I can tell here, front runner breakdown, they're not really losing that much. If anything, laggards are losing more. And I think they included the term they used, followers. They include followers in the front runner breakdown because, as I said earlier, followers are usually partners of front runners in this scheme. What they want you to remember here as a take-home message is in the light blue box. The increasing importance of data and interconnectivity in manufacturing changes the dynamics of technology adoption. Waiting for cheaper and better technology does not pay off, since front runners are expected to capture the largest benefits. So, as I said earlier, front runners have the highest risk, but the largest payoffs are what they're looking for. These companies put billions and billions of dollars into basically risking it all, and a lot of them do pay off. If you are a laggard and you wait for cheaper and better technology, you will get cheaper but worse technology. You get what you pay for in this society, and AI and the development of technology is no different. Okay, so when we focus more on the world scale, the global network of lighthouse factories. So these are lighthouses that are going to be factories for integrative technologies that will be manufactured in these sites that are listed here, but transported and possibly assembled in other places. So for instance, Johnson & Johnson, DePuy Synthes medical devices, IR, that they have listed, that's in the UK, the IR meaning Ireland, those things would be manufactured there, but they may be transported to France or the US, for instance. We look at Tata Steel products in, I guess that's the Netherlands. They may produce things there, but transport them to BMW. BMW is there in Denmark, Automotive Denmark. Those products may be manufactured there, but transported to Africa. So you see how things are becoming and have been very, it's a synergy that's occurring between these companies. And I just want us to understand how things are more and more connected. They want to develop this global network of lighthouse factories. Now, I may have people that come on the comment section, oh, this is the new world order. This is, oh my God, this is crazy, blah, 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 blah. You the one sitting there talking about it's crazy, but guess what, motherfucker? It's still happening. It ain't going to stop just because you talking about it's a conspiracy. The one thing I've learned from the World Economic Forum is there is no such thing as conspiracy. On their pages and a lot of the articles that I read, they tell you exactly what the hell they doing. If you don't want to know, it's because you ain't looking, you ain't reading. And according to Grinch, he probably right, niggas don't read, okay? It's not that you can't read. You don't read. You don't want to read. Okay, so if we go back to some things that BGS has discussed, they also say here, fast radius with UPS, additive manufacturing in the U.S. So that's around, what is that, around Michigan, around Detroit, Chicago, maybe even Indiana, North Dakota, South Dakota, places like that in the Midwest of the U.S. UPS, as I just, they have the robots that will be delivering. That could be for drones for the hospitals in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Wake Med. You also have the United States Postal Service with the robots and the autonomous vans that will be delivering packages. So all of these things are connected. They are talking to each other. These companies are not isolated because they know isolation means death. Isolation means death to a lot of these corporations. You can't survive that way. It's the same way with my profession. I can't survive by just sitting in a room by myself or a laboratory by myself, working along quietly and doing everything by myself. I have to be able to communicate with people and collaborate on different projects. You know, it's not about getting all of the praise and adoration. It's about getting the job done, getting things done and pushing it forward. You take a risk by collaborating with people, but you also have to vet people and know their track history, know what they've done in the past. And that's how you have an indication of what they're capable of in the future. So I'll let you all read through this, at your leisure. I'll leave links to the article that was put forth with the World Economic Forum. I'm going to go back to this beginning. I'll leave a link to this article, and you can follow in my video of how I found that PDF and came across that. And you can find PDF articles for any of these topics that are listed here. I hope that this was not too long of a video. I've tried not to make it that long. If we need to have more discussions on this topic and others, let me know in the comment section. Shoot me an email, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Have a great day.